All right, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a tool that you've probably heard of, maybe even used a bunch, mind mapping. But I want you to forget about the software for a minute. Forget about those super polished, finalized charts. We're going to explore this as a living, breathing practice for how we actually think. And this quote right here, this is our jumping off point. It completely reframes the entire conversation. We're shifting away from just organizing stuff we already know, and instead, we're talking about organizing the quality of our attention while we're in the middle of thinking. It's a small change in words, but it's a massive difference in practice. Okay, so let's get into it. The whole game changes when we stop seeing the mind map as the final product and we start seeing it as the process. Seriously, the value isn't in the pretty diagram you have at the end. It's in the actual act of creating it. So, what does that mean, really? Well, it's about the real-time, sometimes messy, act of getting your thinking out of your head and onto the page. You're externalizing your thoughts while they're still half-baked, you know? You're giving these ideas space to breathe and to find their own connections. This is the big question, isn't it? If we're not trying to make a polished chart to show our boss or our team, then what's actually going on while we're scribbling away? What's the point of the process itself? Well, the first major thing that starts to happen is this incredible shift into systems thinking. The practice lets you see the whole ecosystem of your thoughts all at once, not just one little path forward. To do that, we have to get beyond the good old-fashioned list. I mean, an outline or a set of bullet points, they're sequential by their very nature, right? They force you to create an order, a hierarchy that might not actually be true to the idea itself. Our thinking is usually way more tangled and interconnected than a simple list can ever show. And you can really see that transformation right here. We're moving away from linear thinking, which is all about sequence and hierarchy, and we're stepping into spatial thinking, which is all about relationships and clusters. You stop asking, what's the next step, and you start seeing how groups of ideas are forming patterns. It's like going from walking down a single path to suddenly seeing a map of the entire landscape from above. And this is how it works. By throwing your ideas onto a canvas, you break that tyranny of what comes next. Suddenly, the entire context is right there in front of you. And this makes it so much easier to spot those emerging patterns, but just as importantly, you start to see the gaps. You see the missing links that a straight-up outline would have completely hidden from you. Now, seeing the system of your existing thoughts, that's powerful stuff. But the real magic, the part that gives me chills, is how this process allows for totally new thoughts to emerge. We're talking about ideas that literally were not there when you first started. I love this metaphor from the source material. It suggests we should think of our ideas not as solid blocks, but as living threads. Each one has potential, a direction it wants to go, and this innate ability to connect with other threads. And if your thoughts are living threads, then the act of mapping isn't just about organizing them, it's about weaving. You're actively creating this tapestry of meaning, following the connections that feel the most alive, and just letting the overall pattern take shape as you go. And this means that a core function of this whole practice is to allow yourself to be surprised. I mean it. If you start a mind map and it ends up looking exactly how you thought it would, you are probably just documenting something you already knew. The real goal is to create a space where unexpected connections can just spark into existence. So how does this happen? It's not just some random accident. The very structure of mind mapping, when you do it this way, actively invites different parts of your brain, different ways of knowing, to the party. This whole process works because you're letting these weird associations pop up before you've decided what they mean. You're working with images, with how things feel spatially, with your gut. It's a huge shift in how you know something. You're moving into this more creative, relational, and present state of mind. This brings us to probably the most important distinction of all. What is it that keeps a mind map a living, generative tool? And what kills it, turning it into a static, dead document? Just look at this comparison. The living process is provisional, it's messy, it's surprising, it's playful. The static product, on the other hand, is finalized, neat, predictable, and optimized. That act of trying to clean it up, to make it perfect, to optimize it for a presentation, that is the exact moment its generative power just fizzles out and dies. This quote just nails it. The creative energy is all in the unfinishedness of it all. It's in the freedom to play with connections, to explore without a set destination, and to be totally okay with being in that state of not knowing yet. That's the fertile ground where new things grow.
So when you put all of these pieces together, the systems thinking, the idea of emergence, the focus on the living process, it all leads to this really profound reframing of what we're actually doing here.
And here it is. This is the single most important takeaway. Mind mapping, when practiced this way, is not a tool for representing thoughts that you've already figured out. It's a practice for participating with your thinking as it's coming into being. It's a conversation with your own ideas as they emerge. So the final question is, what might become possible for you if you stopped just representing your thoughts and actually started participating with them?